Welcome everybody to Welcome to Manchester. We are back. It's another game. It feels like the games are just coming thick and fast, aren't they, Paul, to be honest? It's non-stop. Oh, can't get a breath. But welcome, mate. Great to have you alongside me, as always, for this match preview of Everton versus Man City. I hate Goodison Park.
Oh, mate, it's always a horrible ground for us to go to. But I've been looking at some interesting stats anyway, what I'll touch on shortly. So let's get into it.
Brilliant. Well, as you know, it's our match preview. Today, just letting everyone know that our latest pod has just been released. Download it on Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, and also there's a video on YouTube with the whole pod on there for you to have a look at. So there's a bit of prostitution of the pod. We'll move on to the. I've only
just recovered as well. Don't know about you, mate. Jesus, them rags have me going.
Oh, mate, listen, they're irrelevant. Christ. They're in the past. We're talking about future now.
Exactly.
So there you go. When we win this treble, mate, we'll be able to rely on that.
But apparently it's the COVID treble, isn't it? But anyway, we'll
irrelevant. Listen, just give Roman Abramovich a chomp and it's all done then. Right. Let's go to the team news anyway, which is looking fairly decent. We've got Stefan in goal, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Zinchenko, Fernandinho, Gundogan, Bernardo, Sterling, Foden, Jesus. That looks very familiar as in shape now. We're gone back to a 4-3-3 by the looks of it.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we've gone for, the standard at the back now, which is proven in it. Looks like we're mixing again up front. I was a bit worried about seeing my mate Jesus on the pitch, but... got a couple of stats flagged up for him before, which was very, very interesting. So Gabriel Jesus has been involved in 13 goals in his 14 appearances in the FA Cup. However, the quarter-final round of the competition is the only that the Brazilian has played in, but not actually scored.
Fucking hell, man.
There's the wood.
There's the wood. You got some wood on you this time.
That's it, mate.
I'm just trying to get the Everton team up at the moment. I mean, who gives a shit about the Everton team? But we have to obviously, let's have a look. Yeah, Everton team. Right, okay. So, I mean, they have got a couple of decent players here that look like they're starting. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Right, I just genuinely can't find the Everton lineup. This is how fucking prepared we are.
I mean, to be honest, mate, we'll talk about Everton because I know our record against them is it used to be dire, didn't it? And it always used to be a bit of a bogey ground. I don't know about what you think, but I used to consider it as a bogey ground. But they've not actually beaten us, mate, since the 15th of January 2017. That was a 4-0 defeat.
Oh, that was hanging that day.
It was hanging.
We were made to look shit.
Big Romelu got one against us then as well.
I think every kid who made a debut scored. Fucking Lutman scored. Tom Davies scored.
That's right, mate. Yeah, you got to.
Gene Wilder there.
So, I mean, that was the Everton then. They've not beat us since then. However,
this team looks pretty decent, you know.
Yeah, I think they're a different outfit under Ancelotti. They're making serious headway in Merseyside at the minute, but I do think we've got the capacity to go ahead and get a result here, irrespective of what sort of form they're in at the minute.
Back in the day, there was one name on the team sheet that I hated coming up for Everton, and do you know what I mean? It made me fucking hate neighbours in Australia because it was that Aussie fucking Tim Cahill. Every time, and it was a header, or you just knew he was going to score, didn't you?
And then he'd go and do his shit celebration, wouldn't he?
Yeah, the boxing one.
The boxing one at the corner flag.
We're talking about somebody with a shit celebration. I'll give the lineup here. So it's Golden Virginia in goal. You've got Coleman, Godfrey, Holgate, Mina, Digne, who I love at left back. I think he's great. He'd be brilliant in City's team. Allen. Remember when everyone shouted his name when he played for Napoli? Alan.
I was at that game, yeah.
Oh, fucking brilliant. Gomez, Calvert-Lewin, Sigurdsson and Richarlison. So that's a decent team. And they haven't played. They have had a full week to prepare for this game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could say the same about City, but this is a completely different line up to what played midweek, innit, mate? So,
Yeah.
but that's the luxury of having such a big squad. But yeah, feeling positive. Wasn't feeling positive when I saw Jesus, but the stats, they're looking good, mate. So I hope that he just performs and we're not doing a midweek rant next week, slagging him off and calling him a flipping Uber again. Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
God, not at all. I mean, I mean, I think if we're being absolutely honest, I think this could be a turning point. I don't want us to go out of this, because this could be the first kind of leg of the treble or a quadruple or whatever you say that is, that we can go out, and I don't want the wheels to come off, and I want that momentum to keep going. So I think this is an important game, and it's the last game before we go into the internationals, the international break. So there's a lot riding on this. It's at Everton. It's against Ancelotti. You want to win this to qualify for the semi-final. You don't want to go into the international break on a loss. So I think there's quite a lot at stake here, to be honest, pal.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, it's a quarter final of a major cup, innit? And we want to go out and win each tournament. So, I'm going for it, but I've got my worries about Sterling. I don't know what you're thinking, mate. He got benched midweek, and he's been looking bad, hasn't he? And I just wonder whether or not, again, it's going to be another Sterling horror show, and we'll be talking about it again next week. But
well, let's slag him the fuck off, because every time we've slagged the player off, they've done mint.
Yeah, they actually have it.
Right, so he's a piece of shit. He can't play football. He runs like a pterodactyl. No, right, no, let's. No, honestly, I just hope he comes back, and maybe this is good management of this isn't a shit game he's putting him in for. We're relying on him here, to be honest.
Yeah, and I know I've just touched on Gabriel Jesus not scoring in a quarter final, but another stat that I've just pulled out of the air is
go for it.
Gabriel Jesus has scored 7 goals in 7 appearances against Everton, and that's more than he's scored against any other opponent.
Yeah.
So
he's always popped up and scored important goals against Everton when we've needed to beat them as well. And I think that's what Jesus does. He does pop up with them important goals, and I think he's got no other fucking choice. We need him to score today.
Yeah, I mean, the only worry is that, and we've touched on it in previous pods, haven't we, mate, is that he looks like he's under a bit of pressure when he's not got sort of a striker alongside of him. And obviously, this is a big game. It's a quarter final, and I just hope it doesn't get to his head.
Why is Aguero not starting? Right, he didn't play midweek. He's been rested again. He's not injured. He's coming on for 10 minutes here and there. He starts against Fulham. I think, do you not start him in a game like this? Maybe put Jesus out wide, Aguero up front, and keep Sterling on the bench?
I'm struggling what to think, really, now. Do you know what I mean? Why is he not being started?
I don't know. I think
the answer is I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, we look at the bench. You've got Ederson. I mean, what a bench this is. Ederson, Stones, Aguero, Rodri, De Bruyne, Torres, Mendy, Mahrez, Cancelo. Fucking hell, every single player there you'd have in any other Premiership side, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. But this is again the luxury of having a squad that this big. If it's not going well, then we've got plenty of talent.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, for the game today, this is how I'd like to see it go. I mean, I think we need to score early, and I think we need to get a couple, because they, on the counter-attack, are dangerous, as anybody is against City. Any counter-attacking team, it's always the way to open us up is just to hit them full-backs. And Zinchenko's not the quickest at left-back. And for me, Kyle Walker, his last outing, he wasn't that great, was he? You look at him and Cancelo. I think Cancelo's edged it for me at right back.
Yeah, they do. And again, when they're put under a little bit of pressure, they just seem to fold a little bit, don't they, sometimes? Mm-hmm. But as I said, Everton are on a very good run, but I can't see him.
No, do you know the only thing worrying me here is, and I think every time Ferner's come in, he's been unbelievable, and he offers something totally different to Rodri going forward. I think. And I think we need to replace Fernandinho, because Rodri is an amazing kind of Busquets player, but he's like Busquets. As soon as he gets past that halfway line, he's not the most clinical. He's not got a pass about him or a shot where Fernandinho could score a few goals. So, I mean, like that Kesse lad from Milan in that type of mode.
Exactly.
Or we get, Luez back. So, but the only thing is, I think and I think this is where Ancelotti's been quite clever. He's filled up that midfield. If you look at their stand, like you've got Allen, you've got Sigurdsson, you've got Andre Gomez. And that industry there, going against Fernandinho, he's not got the legs. So that's the only bit of worry that I've got.
Yeah, it's a very good point, mate. I mean, they're solid in midfield, aren't they? There's no doubt about it.
Allen, mate. He's, mate, he is like an Irish kind of, do you know what I mean? A coal miner, Allen. Just doesn't stop. Do you know what I mean? If you put him, who's Allen? Oh, he's the lad, do you know what I mean? He comes down for a pint, doesn't stop working, proper grafter. Get him on the brickies, get him on that. He just works hard. He's just an absolute
a utility player, isn't he? Utility player.
Definitely, man. So that's the only worry I've got, but it's good to see Bernardo getting back in there. For me, I don't think you can drop him from the side. He offers so much, you know what I mean, going forward. His defensive duties, I love Bernardo Silva, me.
Absolutely. I mean, he's just, as I touched on previously, in big games, you've got to have Bernie playing and you've got to have Gundo playing. And the fact they're in the squad, and we've got Foden. I also said Foden as well. So them three, I always think, are pretty sort of critical to our big games. And I've said they must start, and obviously they're starting today. So
and this formation gives Gundogan. Gundogan's had his best. He's pretty much he's very well suited. He gets the goals in this formation. So I don't know. Have you seen that alternative commentary? I don't know if you've watched the City alternative commentary. There's a guy on Twitter who does it, and he calls Gundogan Mr. Whippy. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen a few tweets going about with him in an ice cream.
Oh, mate, because he just says, "Oh, what's that coming?" And he got ding, 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 ding. It's like good, man. Watch it; it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant material.
Yeah, but forward. I mean, without obviously, we like to see KDB playing, don't we? Because there's no doubt, he's one of the best players in Europe. Period. But I think when he's not in the side in this kind of setup, it does free Gundo up and Bernie up a bit, to play a bit more with freedom. And, that's where we put this ridiculous run together. So let's hope it continues today, mate.
Cross fingers. What's your predictions then? You said 2-0 on the pod, didn't you? So are you sticking with that?
I'm sticking with 2-0, mate. Yeah, and I'll be happy with 2-0, defo.
I think we'll concede, and I'm going to go, unfortunately. I just don't know when I see Laporte in there with my greatest ever City player, Diaz. No, I'm joking, but when I'm never going to live that down, putting him in the old times. Never going to fucking live that down.
Absolute, man.
Brilliant. Even though I think he will be, him and Vinny, imagine him and Vinny in their heyday together.
Ridiculous.
Come on. But anyway, I think every time I see Laporte in there, I'm not as confident as when I see Stones in there. So I think we'll concede. I think it'll be 3-1.
Yeah.
Richarlison with that fucking stupid duck celebration that he does. You know that swan thing.
Fuck mate, I hate it. At the end of the day, going for a victory, aren't we? And it's important we win the competition.
Yeah.
Some people sort of pull the faces a bit to the FA Cup, don't they? But as part of the trophies you want to hold up at the end of the season, for me, I think it's an important one.
Well, I don't know if you know before I go that I work for the club. I don't know if you know that, but
you not mentioned that before.
No, I don't know if I know. I need to mention it a few more times. But I was very lucky to get a tour of the CFA, and his prize picture, Pep, right near his office, is him holding his first FA Cup. And he said when he come to England, that was the trophy he set out to win first because of the history of it. I'll mince that.